Good morning. We're gonna get started today. There's a lot of little projects we've got to do in preparation to getting moved into the house. So far the bus has not frozen, which is such a blessing because the house isn't quite ready to move into. We've got the bathroom, we've got the bedroom, we've got the doors on, but we need to get the pantry ready because that's gonna be our temporary kitchen so we don't have to try to cook in the bus while it's winterized. Let's see what we can do today. So now we're ready to start building the cabinets for the pantry here. It's just under 8 feet wide. We'll come 2 feet out from the wall. Then we'll have open shelves above it, open shelves over here, and it will be tons of storage. So we're just gonna start drawing it out. Get our rough idea here. Not to scale. Yeah, it's like, this drawing's horrible. Okay, so we're gonna have our base cabinets here. We're gonna have a bank of just 2 drawers now, an 8-inch drawer and a 16-inch drawer. Same thing over here, an 8-inch and a 16-inch drawer. Then our sink base is gonna be about 33 inches wide. And then we're gonna have upper shelves above it. So we're gonna have shelves that come out from the wall, just this deep, coming all the way across. And then a foot up, we'll have another shelf that will go all the way to the wall, come all the way across. And then up another foot, we'll have another shelf. Well, now that we got the house nice and warm, it's time to start working in the freezing cold garage. We do have a fire going, but that's just gonna be where we can go near it and keep warm because we don't have a way to keep the heat in the garage yet.
Yeah.
Eventually that is the plan, to fully insulate and sheetrock the garage.
Yeah.
But that's
way down the road.
That is in the plan, but not in the budget. So that'll come later. The main focus is the house, but to be done with the house, we've got to build all of our cabinets.
Yeah.
So what cabinets are we going to start on first?
We're going to start with the pantry cabinets because that is actually going to be our makeshift kitchen until the kitchen is built, which the kitchen is in phase 2. So that will be fairly soon or relatively soon, but still we'll probably be living in the house probably 6 weeks before we actually have a functioning kitchen.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 weeks. We'll see how
We'll see how fast we go, how fast we can remember how to build cabinetry.
Well, I'm sure we'll get into a rhythm once
Definitely.
we kind of get our first ones done. And the first ones will be in the pantry, so, you know.
Yeah, just close that door, no one can see it. All right, so our first challenge of building cabinetry is that we have our stack of cabinet materials, and of course, the wood that we need first is on the bottom. So let's start moving sheets of plywood. All right, so as we're building our base cabinet carcass, we've got all of our inner pieces and outer ends cut. Now we just need to put a groove in them so we can put our back panel into them. As we're preparing to cut the groove in our cabinet base, we're going to change out our table saw blade to a 1/4 inch wide dado blade. So before we do that, we're going to unplug the table saw. Now we can stick our hands in the saw without concern. Blades in, now we'll set it to the depth of cut we want to make. So we want our groove to be 3/4 of an inch in. And then we're going to go a 1/2 inch up. So we're going to get our block scission, 1/2 inch block. Right there, our blade is exactly a 1/2 inch up from the surface. We have our panels marked where we're going to do our groove. So we've got our base cabinet carcass built. Now we're building our face frame for the pantry cabinet. It's just about 8 feet long. We're gonna make it all one piece. We've got a center double door. We've got 2 drawers on that side. We're gonna have 2 drawers on this side. And now we are just gluing and pocket screwing it. So it'll be nice and strong before we assemble it.
Before we what?
Before we assemble it. It's a little cold in here.
Yeah, what's the temperature?
What is the temperature?
It's below 40. It's
Below
38,
40.
38 degrees.
Yeah.
But the wind chill is 32.
The wind chill inside the garage.
Yeah, it feels like 32.
Oh, yes. So we want to use this flat clamp to keep the 2 pieces from shifting when we screw them in. And we're just going to check our square. We are perfectly square. That's always a good sign. And then for our drawer divider, we're going to use our spacer blocks. That will get us perfectly spaced. And we'll be able to attach that right there. double check square one more time. Nice and square. Clamp it into place. And screw. Nice and square. Level clamping. And then we will take it inside where the glue will dry instead of freeze. And then once the glue's dried up, we'll give it a nice sand and then mount it to our base carcass. Take off these because this is dried overnight.
Very nice.
All right, so next step is to install the cabinet base. Make sure we have room on that side for our cabinet side. All right. And then we'll square it and shim it against the wall if we have to.
Okay.
Eight foot 1/8. 8 foot 1/8.
Sweet.
So we've measured our boxes square, so we don't want to make it unsquare by pulling it to the wall. So anywhere that we have a gap at a stud that we're going to screw to, we're just going to shim it. And then we will screw it to the wall. Now we're ready for the cabinet base.
Yay!
All right, we are ready to bring the base cabinet in. We'll set it down, then we can transfer the holes to the back of the cabinet before we install it. So I transferred the measurements for the drain pipe, the drain cleanout, and the 2 water lines on the back of the cabinet. Now we will drill our holes and then we'll see if the measurements were correct. It's going to be a tight fit.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'm actually in.
Okay.
All right, 6 foot level. I'm down now.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, that is spot on.
Well, perfect.
Woohoo! Okay. Yes, 3/8, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
95
95 and 3/8.
So all the way to the wall. Oh, it's like a 16th difference.
That's what it's been the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so we're 95, 7/16, no, 5/16.
Okay. So we dry fit it first, if it
Yep.
fits, then we silicone it.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, so we're gonna round this end so it can go into the corner, which will allow us to clock it. Which will allow us to clock it clockwise just a little bit more to get it to fit.
I'm trying to.
Okay, there you go. Very good. Now,
Okay.
straight up. Silicone I have left. Okay, and down. Oh, perfect.
Would this be heavy enough to coat the topping? This should be.
Yeah. And maybe whatever this was sitting on, was it joint compound?
Yeah. That's much heavier. Okay.
Okay.
Whew.
Beautiful.
Cool.
We've broken down our plywood for our pantry drawers. These are gonna be the bottom drawers. They are 10 inches tall, no, 13 inches tall. Nice big deep drawers. Now we're gonna dado out each piece of the drawer to put our drawer bottom into as we assemble it. So as we assemble our drawer boxes, we're gonna glue and nail our sides. So all of our drawers that we're building in this project, both the pantry and the kitchen, will have 21-inch deep drawers. And so all of our drawers are 21 inches. So those are the sides and they go flush, just like that. And my lovely assistant grabbed my nail again because I set it out of my reach. So what I like to do is I like to glue up my front and my two sides, and then we'll drop the bottom into it. Then what we'll do is we'll put on our corner clamps to hold the corners in corners square until they dry. So today we are installing these Bloom undermount drawer slides. And in order to do that, these are going to be mounted right inside. They'll mount here, and then they'll also be mounted in the back. So we need to transfer this measurement from the front to the back. And how we do that is I have these pieces of plywood cut that exactly match the height. And so we'll bring it to the front, hold it tight against the outer wall, and just really easily just make a line top and bottom. And then what we'll do is we'll take that and attach it to the back wall, and that transfers that dimension all the way to the back. Now these are mounted in the back using these brackets, and that gives us the flexibility to slide it forward and back depending on the depth of our cabinet box. But you can see that this bracket is offset from where this would mount, and it's offset by 3/8. So we want this bracket to be 3/8 of an inch to the left of this frame. So what we'll do, so here's where we want the frame to be. We want the frame to sit just like that. So we'll take our 3/8 block, we'll set it on that line, draw a line. Then we also have the thickness of the bracket that needs to go down, and that is 1/16 of an inch. So we'll take our 1/16, put it on the line, draw a line, and then when we mount the bracket, we line it up with those two lines and screw it in. We're going to go ahead and install it in the back of the cabinet. If you remember when we built this cabinet carcass, there's 3/4 inch plywood back behind that 1/4 inch backing. And so we're going to go ahead, slide this back there and screw these right into that. So we're going to slide that rear bracket right into that groove. And then we pull this back so it's just back, about a 1/16. No real more than a 1/16 is what we're looking for. And then we'll screw that in, but before we do, we'll pull this out and check it for level. Perfect.
So this was our $5 sink we got at Habitat for Humanity. It's cast iron, so it weighs a ton. It really just needs to be cleaned up, and it will make a great pantry / utility room sink.
That's some real old plumber's putty.
Yeah. This comes off pretty easily. Or you're just real strong.
I don't want to brag. So for these Bloom undermount drawer slides, we've got these pieces that we need to install on the front underneath our drawer for the drawer slide to be installed to latch into. Back to come out just like that, 1.5 inches on each side. We cut that down to the bottom of the drawer. And then we need that to be a notch, so we just take that little piece off. Then we grab a spare drawer slide. What we need to do is we need to mark for this little pokey guy there. But that goes right on there. And then it can't latch in here because the pokey guy on the back does not have its location yet. But now we've marked it. Now that went in there and we are latched in.
Cool beans.
And here we unlatch. All right, let's go install a drawer. Perfect, so nice and flush. We'll mount our drawer face onto that. So now putting our drawer faces together, we dry fit everything first, make sure everything fits, is square, and now we're going to go ahead and glue it up. So we'll put some glue in the groove, and we'll also glue up the tenons on our rails. We'll take our MDF core, slide that right in. I like to put the glue on the back side, that way you don't get squeeze out on your front that everyone's gonna see. So the back side of the groove.
Give it a little hitcha.
So if we were doing solid wood faces, I wouldn't put any glue in the groove because that solid wood would need to move, but the MDF is stable, so we can go ahead and glue it into place without it being a problem. Always gotta make sure you keep all of your rails and stiles oriented the same direction, just in case there was some slight variations in the table saw setup. Then we'll set it in the clamps. Now that it's in the clamps, we can do all of our final adjustments. So you can see over here, our rails are too far in. So I'll just come in here. There we go. So now we're a little proud. So let's tap it till we're flush. We'll check the other side. A little proud. Tap it flush. But then I want to flip it over to wipe off any squeeze out on the finished side. And then, because it's 20 degrees out here, we'll just set it by the fire. Today we are putting the cabinet doors and the drawer faces on in the pantry. So we're gonna start with our cabinet doors, drilling out our doors with our Craig hidden hinge jig. So we have these soft close hidden hinges that need nice big holes, perfectly aligned. So this next part, we're gonna drill our pilot holes for our screw locations.
The very tiny.
Very tiny, 9/64 drill bit. And so to do that, we're gonna first clean out our holes. Beautiful. And then we just set the jig back in place, orienting it with the drill bit. Now we're ready to install our hinges. So we just drop them right in. We want to have a 1/2 inch overhang. So these cupboard doors are designed to be a 1/2 inch up and a 1/2 inch over and a 1/2 inch down. So we'll measure from the top of our door to the center of our hinge mount. And that's 4 inches. So we're gonna make a line at 3.5 inches so we can mount our hinge right there. And then, magically enough, the bottom is lined up.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Beautiful.
Now we'll do the other side.
Okay.
All right, let's see how much adjustment we need to do.
Not horrible.
That looks pretty
Maybe a
good.
little bit.
So to mount our drawer faces, we're going to measure for our hardware because we're going to use our hardware holes to attach them to the boxes since our countertop is already on. So our inside to inside is 23 1/8. Half of that is 11 9/16. So we'll make a mark at our halfway point, 11 9/16. And then we'll find our center this direction, which we are 10 7/8. So half of 10 7/8 is
5 3.5/8.
yeah. So we'll very quickly find our 5 3.5/8.
So is that a 7/16?
No, it would be, yes, it is 7/16.
Fractions. It only took me 40 years to get it.
All right, now that we've got our center, we're gonna just stretch our tape out so we can lay it flat. And our hole placement is 5 inches apart. So we're gonna go 2.5 inches on either side of our center line. 1, 2.5. And then we'll do our 5 7/16 down again, and we may burn a couple just to be sure. So I'm burning 5, so we're gonna go 10 7/16. You see that I'm burning 5 here?
Yes.
Burn 5 again. 10 7/16.
What does burning 5 mean?
So just because there's a lot of play in this, you're not getting a very accurate, and it scars up the paint, not getting a very accurate measurement there. So if I burn 1 or burn 5, you just have to remember, because I can now line that 5 up exactly with my mark. And then when I come down 5 7/16, I know it's exact
Gotcha.
and equal side to side. So we've got our holes marked for our hardware. Now we'll drill a hole with the appropriate size drill bit. Just like that. Now we're ready to install. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and mount our first one. So we're going to make our own jig and see how it works. What I'm gonna do is clamp this board with a 1/2 inch reveal. So we've got our 1/2 inch reveal all the way across the bottom. We have a 1/2 inch overhang marked on the covered face. So we'll go ahead and just set this in place, making sure that we are right on our line. All right, so we've got some better screws that are gonna grab a bit better. We don't care if they go all the way through because we're gonna be drilling through holes for our hardware anyway. Now, we can undo our clamps. And screw in from the inside into our drawer face. So now that we've got our screws in from the back, we can remove these temporary screws. And drill our hardware holes. And then we'll we'll see if our hardware screws are long enough. Which they are definitely not. So we have a couple choices. We could countersink our drawer box for these to go in, but we'd have to countersink them almost a ½ inch. And so the other option is that we buy longer screws, which unfortunately means a trip to Home Depot. So we got our slightly longer screws. Now we can install our drawer hardware. And just like that, the pantry cabinets are done. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll plumb in the sink and put it in the shelves up above the sinks. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded. Until then, see you later.